Hi, my name is Carrie Hasler and I write books for the San Diego Zoo. I'm here today with my friend Ty the Giraffe, and we are so excited to be sharing with you today our book, Ty the Quiet Giraffe. This book is all about Ty, who is, well, a quiet guy. The other animals don't think he has anything to say, but Ty might just prove them wrong. This book is also about giraffes. In fact, they are what inspired me to write this story. Before I share our story with you, I'd love to tell you all about the cool facts that I learned about giraffes when I was writing this book. You might already know the most famous fact about giraffes. They're the tallest animals on Earth. But did you know that they are some of the quietest animals too? Just think about it. Lions roar. Dogs bark. Parrots squawk. And wolves howl. But what sound does a giraffe make? That's right. I couldn't think of a sound either. Giraffes don't really make a sound. They make some noises like grunts or hums, but not very often. They are very quiet animals. Giraffes live on the continent of Africa. They live in the savannas where there is grass and trees and room to roam. On the savanna, giraffes notice things that other animals might not. Giraffes are sometimes called the watchtowers of the savanna. That's because they are the tallest animals and can see danger coming before any other animal sees it. When a giraffe runs, the other animals will run too. Giraffes are good runners, but they usually only run when being chased by a predator like a lion. When they run, their legs look like scissors cutting. Giraffes mostly eat leaves from acacia trees, which grow on the savanna. Their long necks help them reach the leaves at the top. Giraffes are famous for their very long necks, but did you know that they have the same number of neck bones that humans do? Giraffes and humans each have 7 neck bones, but the bones in giraffes are much larger. Giraffes also have super long tongues that are bluish-black in the front and pink in the back. Their tongues also help them reach leaves high up in the trees. Giraffes live in groups called herds, and their babies are called calves. A calf can stand up and walk within an hour after it's born. Most human babies take about a year to learn how to walk. There are different species or types of giraffes. You can tell the species by its pattern. These giraffes are reticulated giraffes. Their pattern looks like a jigsaw puzzle. Each giraffe has its own unique pattern of spots, just like human fingerprints. Both male and female giraffes have knobs on their heads called ossicones. And they have hoofs that can be 12 inches across. That's the size of a dinner plate. When giraffes need a drink of water, they have to splay their front legs so they can bend their long necks down to the water. Giraffes can sleep standing up, sitting down, or with their necks bent to rest their heads. When I was writing this book, I wanted to include some of the other animals giraffes live with on the African savanna. Animals like zebras, cheetahs, warthogs. Aren't these guys funny looking? Elephants, rhinos, hyenas, secretary birds, vervet monkeys, wildebeests, who are famous for their stampedes, and dung beetles. Psst! Dung is another name for poop, and yep, that dung beetle is riding on a ball of poop. There are also termites on the savanna, which can build mounds that are taller than a giraffe. One special animal I wanted to include was a small bird called an oxpecker. Oxpeckers ride on the backs of animals like giraffes. They pick off and eat ticks and insects off the animals, who are glad to get rid of the pesky bugs. And in exchange, the oxpecker gets a meal. The oxpeckers and giraffes help each other out. So now that you know a little bit about giraffes and the other animals they live with on the savannah, see if you can find some of those fun facts in the book as we read it together. Ty the Quiet Giraffe. At first, everyone noticed Ty the giraffe. It was hard not to. He couldn't help but stand out. Everyone had so many questions for him, but Ty didn't answer. He didn't know quite what to say. Ty was shy. Ty was a quiet guy. Do you play basketball? Just how tall are you? Can you reach the clouds? At school, Ty always paid attention. He liked listening to the teacher and he never interrupted. Instead, he patiently waited to be called on. But not everyone was like Ty. Some were always chattering away. Others, like Eric the rhino, couldn't help but blurt out the answers before anyone else had a chance. I know the answer! I know the answer! It's 4! Is an inchworm really an inch? When the others were monkeying around in art, Ty was focused. He wanted his drawings to be the best they could be. His notebook was full of sketches and fancy doodles, not messy scribbles. During story time, Stuart the warthog kept interrupting to tell everyone what would happen next. Even though Ty had already heard the story too, he never gave it away. He kept it to himself. Ty was a quiet guy. Hey, I know what's going to happen. Don't spill the beans, Stuart. At the watering hole, Ty could hear Zari the zebra whispering with her friends. Ty's so quiet, said Zari. Why doesn't he ever speak? I don't know. Maybe he can't speak, the elephant replied. Ty never has anything to say, snickered the hyena. They all giggled. Ty might be quiet, but he could hear quite well. Even though Ty was very tall, he was beginning to feel very small. But Ty liked being quiet. When he was quiet, he could listen. He could hear the crickets chirping in the evening dusk. He could hear the first raindrops of a storm polka-dot across the earth. He could watch the busy termites repair their mound. Ty noticed things that no one else did. Have you noticed some of the ways that being quiet has helped Ty? He seems to be a really good listener, and he also seems to notice things that others might miss. That's called being observant. The thing Ty loved best of all was being with his bird friends, the oxpeckers. Because he was quiet and calm, they would perch on his neck and ride on his back and play with him among the branches. He loved watching them build their nests in the crevices and holes of his favorite acacia tree. They would tell him their stories. Ty was always the best listener. No one ever noticed the oxpeckers, but Ty did. The next day at recess, Ty looked around for someone to play with. Stuart was too much of a ball hog. The honey badgers were too bossy. Playing dung beetle marbles looked fun, but he felt too shy to ask if he could join. What if they said no? Ty's too quiet. He won't be any fun to play with. He never has anything to say, chimed in Zari when it was time to pick teams. Eventually, everyone stopped noticing Ty. That afternoon, the teacher was asking a lot of questions, like she usually does. What is the name of a group of lions? And what do herbivores eat? Ty didn't like raising his hoof right away. He liked to think about his answer before sharing it. What do you think, Ty? There was a long pause as Ty was thinking. Everyone was waiting and waiting, but Eric couldn't wait any longer. He doesn't think anything. Ty's too quiet. He never has anything to say. Sad and discouraged, Ty trudged home after school. He didn't think being quiet was a bad thing, but maybe it was. He decided to visit his oxpecker friends, knowing they would cheer him up. When he got to the acacia tree, he soon forgot about his troubles when he noticed that one of the birds, the smallest one, had fallen and broken her wing. There wasn't enough room in the nest. She just couldn't fit in. After helping her up, Ty had an idea. He remembered listening to the math lesson, and he thought about the story his teacher read. He pulled out the drawing he had done in art class. Ty got busy. Ty didn't care that the others at school thought he was too quiet. He had important work to do. Ty began measuring and sawing, hammering and painting. Day after day, he rushed home, excited to work on his project. One afternoon, while everyone was playing, Ty looked out across the savannah, thinking about his oxpecker friends. He was as tall as a watchtower and could see far into the distance. Suddenly, his ears began to twitch, and the hair along his neck began to stand up. Ty could see a threatening cloud of sand and dust billow along the horizon. The ground began to rumble with the sound of 10,000 hoofs. Like scissors cutting through the air, Ty's long legs carried him back to the playground to warn the others. "Stampede!" shouted Ty with all his might. Surprised to hear his voice, the others turned and raced, following Ty across the grass to the protection of the umbrella-shaped acacia tree, just as the first of the wildebeest stormed past. Huddled behind the tree trunk, the animals hunkered down as the herd parted and the dust and the dirt settled. And that's when they saw them. Everyone looked up in amazement. Ty had built a wonderland of birdhouses hanging like ornaments. The animals looked around and saw all the care and detail that Ty had put into making birdhouses for each oxpecker. There were small ones and big. Some had polka dots. Others had thatched roofs. Some had many compartments. Others just one. No two were alike. And now, none of the oxpeckers would fall from the tree. "I didn't know you were so artistic. Wow! How did you make all these?" Then they all noticed the sign, "All friends welcome." Everyone looked at each other and up to the birdhouses and then back to the sign. And, like the grass rippling across the savannah, the animals realized what Ty had shown them. There is room for everyone. They all looked up at Ty. He was hard not to notice. In fact, he seemed taller than before. It turns out, Ty might be quiet, but he has a lot to say. Will you show me how to make a birdhouse? Did you see how Ty showed the other animals that everyone should be included, no matter if you're big or you're small, or you're loud or you're quiet? There's room for us all. He made sure that all of his oxpecker friends had a birdhouse. Everyone was included. And even though Ty is quiet, this was his very important thing to say. Do you have something very important to say? Of course you do. And if you listen and you watch and you pay attention to the world around you, you will find all sorts of very important things to say. Take care, smile often, and keep reading. See you next time. Giraffes are quickly disappearing from our planet in what is being called a silent extinction. These majestic animals are being threatened by illegal hunting called poaching for their hides and meat. The number of giraffes in the wild is also shrinking as their habitat shrinks. As cities and farms grow, giraffes are losing living space as well as their acacia trees, their main source of food. Giraffes are quiet creatures and need our help to speak up for them. To learn more about giraffes and how you can be a superhero for giraffes and other wildlife, visit sandiegozookids.org/saveanimals and endextinction.org. And to buy a copy of Ty the Quiet Giraffe and your very own Ty, visit the San Diego Zoo or their online store at shopzoo.com.